I'll be explaining the poem Television written by Roald Dahl today. Roald Dahl, he is one of the most famous modern writers in English, and he was not only a poet, he was a short story writer, he was a novelist, he was a screenwriter, he was a fighter pilot, and he has a lot of fans. He has a lot of fans among the young readers because his works are so good. Okay, his works are very, very good. And here, this poem, as the title suggests, it is all about television. And the poet, he has presented this poem in a very funny way, but the actual matter discussed in this poem is very serious. So here actually, the poet tells us, or the poet warns us, like what will happen to our children if they are getting addicted to television, or if they are watching television continuously for a long period of time. What will happen to them? And then towards the end of the poem, he is also suggesting like what can be done instead. Okay, so let us read the poem. The most important thing we have learned so far as children are concerned is never, never, never let them near your television set, or better still, just don't install the idiotic thing at all. So here, the poet, he is speaking to us as a representative of a number of people, and he is telling that the most important thing they have learned regarding children is that they should never be allowed to watch television. Or a better solution is that we should not install a television at our home, or at the home, or at the home of these children. Okay, now let us continue. Yeah, and one more thing, that is the idiotic thing. That idiotic thing mentioned here is what? Television. Okay, yeah, now we'll continue. In almost every house we have watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slope and lounge about and stare until their eyes pop out. Last week in someone's place we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. Interesting, right? So what he is saying, like this group of people in which our poet is also a member, they have been to many houses, okay? And in most of the houses, what they have seen the kids or the children gaping at the screen, that is staring at the screen continuously, and they loll and slop and lounge about. Okay, that means they sit or they lie down in a very lazy manner, and they stare until their eyes pop out. So there he is exaggerating the situation. That is like he just want to tell us like how long they are staring, or how curiously they are staring at the television. So he's saying that they stare until their eyes pop out, until their eyes come out. Okay, and one more thing, he's saying that last week in someone's place we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. That means what? Like last week, when they went to someone's place, there they saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. So before that he said they are staring at the television until their eyes pop out. So he has even seen a dozen eyeballs on the floor. So he is simply exaggerating the situation, okay, to tell us like how long, or how serious the issue is. Okay, now listen. They sit and stare and stare and sit until they are hypnotized by it, until they are absolutely drunk with all that shocking, ghastly junk. So the children, they are not doing anything, they are simply sitting and staring at the television. So they are watching television for so long hours, that is, they even get hypnotized by it, and they'll get completely absorbed, or they'll get completely immersed into it, and their mind gets filled with all the rubbish or all the junk being telecast in television. Okay, yeah. So now we'll continue. Oh yes, we know it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved tot? So here the poet, he is talking about few benefits of television. Okay, that is, yeah, we know it keeps them still. So them, here them stands for the children. Okay, so the poet is saying that that group of people, which includes a poet, they know that one of the best thing what the television does is that it keeps the children still. Okay, so like they will not do any naughty things. They won't disturb their parents, like as they are getting immersed into the things being showed on the or being telecast on television, they'll sit so quietly and like peacefully in front of it, right? So he's saying that we know that it keeps them still. Okay, that is, it keeps the naughty children calm. They don't they don't climb out the windowsill. Okay, they are not going to climb up the windowsill, and they will not fight each other, they will not kick each other, they will not punch each other, and they'll be very calm. They leave you free to cook the lunch. So if they are not doing any naughty things, then the parents, they'll be very what, they'll be very free, and they can do their work, or they can cook their lunch without any tension, and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think? So now he is raising another question. He is asking the parents, like, did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved tot? Okay, so he is questioning the parents. Have you ever thought, like, what this television, what it actually does to your beloved tot or your beloved kids? Now see the following lines. In those lines, the poet is actually explaining the bad effects of television. Okay, and it is important. Listen to it. It rots the sense in the head. It kills imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. So now see how serious the issue is. And these lines, they are given in, like, written in capital letters. So why it is so? It is to emphasize, or it is to give more stress to the bad effects of television. That's why it is written in capital letters. Okay, so what he says, it rots the sense in the head. So it will make the children senseless. Okay, everything will get rotten, and it kills imagination dead. It will even kill their imagination. It means what? Television. It will kill their imagination. Then what happens next? It clogs and clutters up the mind. It actually messes up the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind. Like, he'll become so dull. He'll become so inactive. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairyland. So he'll not be able to understand anything or understand any creative things. It will kill all his creativity and his imagination. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. That is, his brain, it will be like what? It will become completely useless. Okay. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He will no longer think. Till that powers of thinking, it will get what? It will rust and it will be frozen. So he'll not think anymore. He cannot think. He only sees. That is, he'll simply watch the television. He'll see everything, but he'll not be able to think. Now, see. All right, you'll cry. All right, you'll say, but if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? So, here the poet, he actually he's predicting, or he anticipates a question that can be asked or raised by the parents. That is, if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? So they'll be asking, or the parents may ask, if we throw the television sets out, or if we take the television set away, then what will we do instead to keep them occupied, or to entertain them, entertain the children? Please explain. So they may ask explanation to the poet. So the poet, he anticipates it. We'll answer this by asking you, what use the darling ones to do? How use they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented? Have you forgotten? Don't you know? We'll say it very loud and slow. They used to read. They would read and read and read and read, and then proceed to read some more. So, as an answer for their question, the poet, he asked the parents to remember or to recall how the children had kept entertained themselves before the television was invented. Okay, and he's saying that, and he's asking them, have you forgotten? Don't you know? Don't you remember? And we will say it very loud and slow. Okay, that is, he and his people, they'll say it very loud and slow. That is, they used to read. That is, before the invention of television, the children, they used to read. They used to read a lot and then proceed to read some more. So that was the only thing they did to keep themselves entertained. That is, reading books. We'll continue. Great Scott Gadzooks. We'll continue. Great Scott Gadzooks. One half their lives was reading books. The nursery shelves held books galore. Books cluttered up the nursery floor. And in the bedroom, by the bed, more books were waiting to be read. So, yeah, the first thing, that is Great Scott Gadzooks. It is actually expressions of surprise and amazement. Okay. And the poet is also saying one half their lives was reading books. And books could be found everywhere, be it on the nursery shelves or on the nursery floor or in the bedroom and near the children's bed. Everywhere books could be found. So all of them were like voracious readers. Okay, let us see what comes after that. Such wondrous, fine, fantastic tales of dragons, gypsies, queens and whales and treasure isles and distant shores, where smugglers rode with muffled oars, and pirates wearing purple pants, and sailing ships and elephants, and cannibals crouching round the pot, stirring away at something hot. It smells so good, what can it be? Good gracious, it's Penelope. Here the poet talks about the popular books of adventures that children used to read in his time. So, yeah, they used to read the stories of dragons, gypsies, queens, whales, treasure isles, and then distant shores where smugglers rowed with muffled oars, and pirates, they are the robbers who roves at the sea, and wearing purple pants. So purple pants, that is alliteration, okay. And sailing ships again alliteration, and elephants. Then cannibals are humans who are eating human flesh. Okay, crouching round the pot, staring away at something hot. And yeah, and it said what? Yeah, again, it smells so good. What can it be? Good gracious, it's Penelope. So here and like everywhere, the poet, he's talking about many stories that the kids used to read in his time. Hmm? Yeah. Then listen. The younger ones had Beatrix Potter with Mr. Toad the Dirty Rotter, and Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, and just how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, and Mr. Toad, and bless my soul, there's Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. So again, he's saying about another famous writer in his time, or like another famous writer for the children, who wrote for the children, and it is Beatrix Potter, and Beatrix Potter is actually an English writer. You can say that yeah, Beatrix Potter was also an illustrator, then a natural scientist, a conversationalist, and she was also famous for her um, children's books. Okay, and these characters, yeah, that is Mr. Toad and Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. These are all characters from the novel The Wind in the Willow. It's a very interesting story. And yeah, so these things like Mr. Toad, Dirty Rotter, Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, these are all characters from the stories, okay? These are all the names of the characters. And yeah, just how the camel got his hump. So at that time, the children used to read these stories. That is, how the camel got his hump, how the monkey lost his rump. So all such stories were read by the children. And then, oh, books! What books they used to know, those children living long ago. So, the children who were living in his time, or who lived in his time, or lived long ago, they used to read a lot, plenty of books. Like all the characters, all the books, all the writers, they were familiar to the kids. Okay? Huh. So, please, oh, please, we beg, we pray, go throw your TV set away, and in its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. So now the poet, he is asking, or that poet and his group of people, they are asking to the parents to do what? Like to simply throw away the television set and install a bookshelf, or replace it with a bookshelf on the wall. Okay, so actually the poet and his people, they are begging, they are requesting the parents to do this, to throw away the television set, ignoring all the then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the screams and yells, the bites and kicks, and children hitting you with sticks. Fear not, because we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they will now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So here again the poet, he is giving a warning. Okay, he is telling the parents what? Certainly your kids, they'll be very angry if you do this. That is, if you throw out the television set, certainly your kids will be very angry. Okay, they will make dirty looks, they'll stare at you angrily, then they will scream, they will yell, they will bite you, they will kick you, they may even beat you with sticks. Okay, but ignore everything. Okay, doesn't matter, be calm, fear not, because we promise you that in about a week or two. So here the poet, he's saying that we promise you, the poet and his people, we promise you that like in a week or two, the kids, they will soon turn to the books. they'll start reading as they have nothing else to do. Okay, if the TV is not there, then what will they do? They have nothing else, right? So certainly they'll turn to reading. And what else they'll do? They'll understand the necessity to read. Okay, they'll understand it. And once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy that fills their hearts. So the poet is saying what? He says that once they start reading, then certainly their minds will be filled with lots of happiness. They'll be really joyful to read the books. And then they will grow so keen, they'll wonder what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine, that nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. The poet also assures that once they start reading, then certainly they'll grow so interested in reading, and certainly they are going to wonder like why I was that stupid or that idiotic machine, what I was watching in it, why I liked watching it. And he's calling the machine like ridiculous, which means stupid. That nauseating, like disgusting, foul, dirty, unclean, repulsive. Repulsive means what? Something that is arousing disgust. Okay, why I was watching such a dirty thing, or why I was addicted to such a dirty machine. Like he is assuring that the kids they'll wonder themselves. And later each and every kid will love you more for what you did. And now the poet is also saying that like soon, I'm sure, like the poet is assuring like each and every one, each children, they'll simply thank you, or they'll start loving you more. Loving you means loving the parents more for introducing them to the books. Okay, so this is the poem. So right now, this poem is very relevant. So at that time, in this poet's time, if the children were addicted to television, now the children are addicted to mobile phones, games, then what else? Computers. So certainly, even now, like it is important, like for us to understand the necessity to read. Why we should understand why it is important to read. Like the books, each and every book, they open up a new world in front of us. Like it will introduce us to new people, new culture, and several things, right? It will make us imagine and wonder about so many things. Certainly those who are addicted to mobile phones and computers, you're missing it. Okay, I'm not saying that all these technologies and devices they are bad. I'm not saying that, but certainly you should also find some time to read. Like that will be a very different experience. Like that experience you can't get it from TV or mobile or computer. Like books, they open up a new world for us. Like they'll take us to new world. They'll make us imagine a lot, travel a lot, see a lot. They'll help us visit new places, new people. Like it's lot more that should be experienced. Like I can't tell it like how good it is. I can't tell you that through words. Like words are insufficient. It should be experienced. So that's all for the day. Read the poem. Understand it. If you have some doubts, please post it in the comments. And so take care. Bye.